Mother, tell your children not to walk my way. Tell your children not to hear my words, what they mean, what they say.
Hello all, and welcome to this video. As it says, this is a request that someone made, and let me explain to what the request is. This is what they requested. Just wanted to ask you a quick question. Just wanted to see if you and the other YouTube shooters, I hate that term by the way, I hate shooters. We're not shooters, we're commentators, we're not shooters. Out there would do a vid explaining yourselves and your own opinions on what consists of a good match in your own eyes. I went on Bill and Doug's page and left a comment asking them to do the same thing, which probably got lost in the billions upon billions upon billions of posts, since people apparently think their page is a chat room. I do not understand that. Folks, can't you go find a chat room to chat in instead of, you know, spamming their page just full of, you know, stuff? I don't get that. I just never will. I've always wanted to know this from the YouTube shooters, just to see how different y'all look at matches. Again, I hate the term shooters. I'm going to keep saying that. It would be so cool if you did that and spread the word, since you have influence among the masses, and plus I don't have a cam. Well, I am going to answer this, and I would request that the rest of the people out there do the same. Explain what, in your opinion, is a good match. Explain what you look for in a good match, what you don't look for in a good match, that sort of thing. Give examples of good matches, I guess. Just come on here and explain what it is you like to see in a match. I think it is a very good question, because you're going to get probably a different answer for every request to this video, or every reply to this video. And I'm going to keep the replies open, so you know, you don't have to wait for my approval. Just reply to the video and it will be, you will get your answer. Now, as far as to my personal self, there is the short answer, and the short answer is very short, and it's this: did you enjoy the match? If you enjoyed the match, it was a good match. That's it. Now, if you're going to get a little more in depth, what do I look for in a good match? Well, first of all, did I enjoy it? That's the big one. That's the big one. And then if I enjoyed it, the next thing I look at is, was the crowd into the match? The crowd that was there live, were they into it? If they weren't into it, then I start looking at, well, why weren't they into it? Were they a bad crowd? Were they just not into that match? Were the guys not doing things to pull the crowd into the match? Things of that nature. And if that's, whichever the case is, that, you know, kind of justifies what I think a match could be. Is the match fun? You know, that's one. Did you enjoy it? Were there any, you know, was there anything that just made you cringe? You know, usually there's not that. Was it booked good? Was the ending satisfying? Was, you know, we go on and on type of thing. Was the action good in the ring? Did it make you, you know, suspend belief for what you were watching? Did you believe the two guys were trying to hurt each other? Did you believe that what they were trying to do in the ring? Did you believe it? Or were they just out there going through the motions? Were they out there just, you know, oh yeah, we're out here, oh I'm going to do this, oh I'm going to do that, and there was no emotion, or there's just no connection to it? It's kind of, you know, if you could clone, well, if you could clone Lance Storm, basically, and you can have Lance Storm wrestling Lance Storm, you would undoubtedly get great action. But I don't think most people would care about the match, and the match would just kind of be there. You'd get, you know, technically, it'd be great. So there is all of that. There is, you know, for example, I can look at a match, like a great example of this would be an X Division match. I can look at an X Division match, and I don't get excited as some people do. Why? Because, well, I've been watching Lucha Libre for about 20 years now, off and on. I've been watching Japanese juniors wrestling since probably 1993, maybe a little bit before then. You know, probably the early, I will go early 90s. I saw Tiger Mask versus Dynamite Kid about 91. So, and then it just kind of escalated from there, but really got into it in about 93. So there's a lot, and there's lots of stuff that those two did that people still do today, and you know, that was over 20 years ago, and you're just kind of like, well, that's interesting, that's neat, that's this, that's that. You know, there's very few things I haven't seen. Now, when I do see something that's good, when I see something that's crisp, you know, I do pop for it a little bit. But so for me, when I watch an X Division match, it's not the same as probably somebody that has never been exposed to all of that stuff. You know, it's like I've seen that before. So one person might go, "Oh wow, that was amazing," and I'll be like, "Well, it was good, but you know, I've seen that before." It's sort of like when you have, I would say, when you have like a trilogy of matches or a series of matches. If the guys just go out there and do the same match over and over and over and over again, it gets boring. It gets repetitive, and you're like, you know, by the end of it. I think, even though it wasn't really repetitive, but if you look at Joe and Angle when they did the first 3 matches, each match progressively got worse. Okay? Because they weren't adding anything in. The booking didn't make much sense. None of it just didn't work. Compare that to, you know, Misawa versus Kobashi, where they always did add little wrinkles. They added things that were different. Misawa Kawada, I mean, they fought each other so many times it's not even funny, and they always tried to add something a little different. The finish wasn't always the same, or maybe they would kick out of one move that didn't kick out before. You know, something along those lines. There was always something different about those matches. So basically, but I'm kind of rambling here. Basically, what I would say is, did you enjoy the match? And if you enjoyed the match, then it's a good match in your eyes, because it's all opinion, like anything else, on what we think is good, what we think is bad, and there's no real formula to it. If there was a formula to it, you'd be able to go out there and put on a good match all the time. You know, look at Scott Steiner and Goldberg had one of the best matches of late WCW, before WCW went under. They had one of the best matches there, and those 2 guys that if I went to you and I said, "Oh, we're going to put Goldberg and Scott Steiner on a pay-per-view as the main event," I think that'll be a good main event. Everyone, even back then, would look at you and go, "Are you insane? That's going to suck. That's going to be horrible." Well, it wasn't. Somehow those 2 could work together. You know, a Batista and Undertaker. For whatever reason, Undertaker can get stuff out of Batista no one else can. Whereas when Vader and Undertaker fought each other, you had 2 of the best big men of all time, and it didn't flow, it didn't work, they couldn't put on good matches for whatever reason. And I would argue that Kevin Nash and Undertaker put on better matches than Vader and Undertaker did. And that would blow most people's minds and going, huh? How is that possible? But things like that happen. You have to look at each match individually. You have to realize what they're doing. You know, is it a wrestling match? You know, you got some people out there that you know, you could have 30 minutes of mat wrestling and be happy with it. You know, think it's the greatest thing ever. Now, in all honesty, I do like matches like that every once in a while. Not all the time, but I do like it every once in a while. You have other guys that want the complete opposite. They want spot after spot after spot after spot after spot after spot after spot. I don't like that either. You know, I like a nice in-between. That's what I personally like. But long story short, again, I was rambling again. It's what you enjoy and it's what you like. And if you like the match, then that's what makes it good. Do you like the guys that were in the match? Did you like the type of match? Did you like how the match finished, the moves that they used, all of those types of things? Because all of those things matter. You know, Calvin A. Hobbs and numerous others have come on here and have said, and they're exactly right, we are all biased. We're human beings. We all have our likes, dislikes, what we like, what we don't like. And that's going to make us biased in some way towards certain things. Some of us are going to like certain endings better than other people. Some people are going to like certain things, are going to like certain types of matches better than other people are going to like certain types of matches. It's just the way it goes. So to just have a formulaic, this is what makes a good match, I don't think exists. I just think you have to look at it as, did you enjoy it? And then you kind of ask yourself, well, did a lot of people enjoy it? Because then if a lot of people enjoyed it, maybe it was a good match. Or maybe it just didn't tickle your fancy. I mean, that's possible too. But anyways, kind of a long rambling video here, but there's my thoughts. I would love to hear what everybody else kind of has to say. But there we go. Everybody check you later, and bye.
That's right.